Hello everybody, bienvenido a todo. Here we are back in Trade Sim World 3 for the second video, which will feature Southeastern High Speed with the 395, and as you can see we're going from St Pancras International to Ashford International, although the service itself will continue back around Faversham and back up the slow line until Ebbsfleet. But we will just take it to Ashford International because the rest of that route to Faversham is not modelled. So, let's get started. This is St Pancras. Let me put the key in. Turn forward. Need to turn the reading light on. My headlights on. It's day running. Make sure I've got the thing closed, the circuit breaker closed. Now, safety systems, I'm going to turn them all on. So that's the usual. We've got AWS, DSD, and I think that's that there, and I need to turn that off. But then we've got some new ones. We've got the TVM and the KVB. So TVM, normal, and normal. So they're related to the high-speed signaling, and like basically if you overspeed, if you don't keep to the speed limit or you go over, it will stop the train. It will give you a warning, and then if you ignore that, it will stop the train. So I've got November or October, I think, set. So I'm going to put the fan on, I think. And I'll close the door 30 seconds before departure. I think I've got everything I need done here. Right, let me put minimum brake on. And now let's have a look at St Pancras. Early morning St Pancras this is. So the sun is coming in from the south, casting its light in. I mean, that light looks great. Gorgeous, gorgeous. There will be there will be a service that's a TGV once the older routes are brought in. So I'll make a video on that and do an explore of St Pancras Station. For this one, I'll just leave it at this because whilst there's more to explore now with the station, there's not actually much to do with that. So I don't want to do it in this video because it'll just be pointless. Right, let's get going. Oh, gorgeous. Oh, overspeed. Oh, look at it go into the sun. Now, I do think the lighting on this route, probably because it's an older route that's been merged with new sections, isn't as quite as good as it is on the other two routes, which seem to have been built from scratch with the new lighting included. But it's still good, don't get me wrong, it's still better than it was in TSW2. We can have a nice saunter down until the speed limit goes up. We go into the tunnel, so the first tunnel to Stratford. So as I said, yeah, there'll be a TGV service which allows you to run the full line speed, and I think we'll let you go non-stop to Ashford as well. So, oh, there we go. These textures are better than they were, I think. And it'll obviously let you use the international platforms at St Pancras. We're here. I want to have a look actually. What stock is that occupying the lines ahead above us? Ah, no. Ah, it's a 66. Ah, it's a bunch of 66s, I see. Where are we? Oh, well, one of them looks like a multiple unit. Is there a multiple unit over there, maybe? Right, I need to go back. We're probably going to get a loaded screen. Oh, no, we didn't. Right. There we go. Well, that was just to save you the fun of looking at a tunnel. Because we got this tunnel all the way to Stratford, which is only about, I think, 3-4 minutes. Maybe more like 5 to 6. And then we will go back into the tunnel until we get to Dagenham. And then from Dagenham, there's just the kind of short tunnel into the Thames. And then there'll be another one, a sort of longish tunnel somewhere between Ebbsfleet and Ashford. I mean, again, it's a high speed. Oh look, I'm getting that little sort of white flickering noise effect. I hadn't noticed that before. I wonder if it's related to how much CPU I'm using or something, maybe, because of using the camera at the same time. Oh, who knows? Oh, right. So not to get above 200 because the speed limit's coming down. So this is already guiding us down into Stratford. Go. Put that more at 40 and then just let it take it down. It's funny because this effect that's happening was on the stream, the preview stream, but when I first played this I didn't notice it. But now it's obviously happening, so I wonder if it's related to how much is going on in your computer at a certain time. So yeah, as I've mentioned, I've got some INI tweaks, so they're tweaks to the engine of the game to make things like loading faster. Oh, you can see kind of why they're happening. I think it's light from the outside getting in. If I can force my way outside the tunnel. I think I can. Can I? No. What if I go underneath? No. Well, anyway, we're approaching Stratford, so I'm going to start bringing the speed down, I think, to about 80. Although they've redone the tracks here, so it's not so jarring. In the original South Eastern High Speed, as you came out of this tunnel to go onto the crossing, the switch to take you into the platform, literally felt like the whole train was being thrown over. Now, much more smooth. And it would feel like that unless you were going less than 60. So now I'm pretty sure you can take that at like anything up to 90 or 100 and it won't be so jarring. So this is Stratford International, which, I mean, they haven't changed much apart from the lighting, I think. And I'm sure they may have touched the station up here to make it look a little bit more glassy, maybe. I think it looks better. I can't quite put my finger on why. I don't know if it's the lighting or if they've changed the textures as well. It doesn't look as grimy as it really should if it's exposed concrete, but it does look grimier, I think. Right. But again, it's really hard to tell like what's just the new lighting and what's like upgraded textures or anything. Yeah. There we go. Whee! Look at that. And I don't believe that is actually the shadow draw distance. I think that's just because one part of the train is underneath the station. Right, I will close the doors with 30 seconds to departure, and then I'm around break. There we go. So I don't know how the TGV is going to be timetable, but it would be absolutely great if during one of these stops it came shooting past without stopping. That would be great. I don't know if they'll have been able to do that though, because it means holding a train here for quite a few minutes whilst that goes ahead. Well, not even that long, I suppose. If it's going at full pelt, it'll be gone out of the signalling block fairly soon. Right, let's go. Up to speed. This isn't very fast accelerating for multiple unit, although it's much better with the overhead wise than it is on third rail. You can watch my original South Eastern High Speed video to see that. Like, it's very, very slow on oh no, did I make a video on it? I think I did. Oh no, maybe I intended to, but kept screwing it up. It was one of the original Southeastern timetable was so tight. Like literally, you made one mistake, you were going to be 2 minutes late. But you could just about do it within like say 30 seconds if everything went right. Yeah. So now this is, I think this is slightly longer tunnel because it takes us to here. This is Dagenham, and then we'll pop out of the tunnel around here, see some yards, and then zoom to Ebbsfleet. So basically, on the high-speed line, everything from this star onwards is new. So that goes all the way down to here. So I'll go from Ebbsfleet International, which was there, but you couldn't use the international platforms earlier. Now you can use the high-speed platforms. And then it will take us all the way down to Ashford International here. And on the slow lines, from here to here is new. And it's actually it does make quite a difference because you get the authentic Dartford to Gravesend trains. Well, they come from London Victoria and then go to Gravesend. Whereas they were unplayable previously because the trains basically spawned in here. Even if this I think this station was modelled, but you couldn't access it, so you just had to see AI trains coming to this platform and that was it. Not very frequently either. So yeah, overall what they've done is kind of add depth to it, so that you can take more advantage of the variation. Certainly being able to do high-speed only runs is a godsend, and you really do get to sort of see the line high-speed 1 for what it is, which is really cool actually, because it maybe feels like before you would get in the slow end really, but not that this train can go much faster on the other side because the train's limit is at 140 miles an hour, I think, so that's, it doesn't go any faster than 225, but it can, but that's its kind of limit. And so if you can pick up speed when you're going downhill, so you can probably get to about 250 to 60 maybe, but not more than that, and that's only because you're going downhill, so you'll pick up speed. You need the TGV to go up to 300, which is what the line speed is on certain parts of HS1. Come on. So the funny thing about these tunnels is they're so long, and by the time you get out, like the dynamic weather kind of done a job on you. The first time I ran this, I kind of like got out the other end and was like, hang on, didn't I set this to clear? And it was already starting to rain. But as I said, like, it depends. Like, I've seen the dynamic weather do different things. I've seen some people say it only ever biases towards rain. I haven't quite seen that. I've seen, like, if you start clear, it biases to worse because that's the only thing it can do. It can either stay the same or go worse. And, like, chances are, given that there are, like, 6 options, it staying clear is 1/6 of that. So it's going to get worse in any other option. Come on, and freedom! The entering and exiting tunnels is now so good, and I mean this light it. I just, like I said, it just looks brilliant. It's a tad over exposed maybe on the train, but if you're talking about direct sunlight early in the morning, it does kind of wash things out. It's that kind of, you know, when you're like, you're kind of bleary-eyed and you gotta go to work and you leave and the sun catches you as you go around a corner because it's low in the sky and like directly in your eyes. It's really bright, so it's capturing that. But yeah, just kind of make the train look very sort of pale. Maybe the train had a long night. We've got some clouds coming in. Now I think I did set light clouds rather than clear skies, so we might not be getting anything yet. This is set for December, I think. No, it's October. It's October, so it's too early for snow, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get something. Ooh, oh, going a little bit too fast. See, this is a very different experience to Castle Würzburg because On that, you got LZB. You just turn it on, sit back, and the train takes the strain. This does not have anything like cruise control. This is more like a TGV. I mean, even TGV, the TGV we have in the game has like a speed control. It's just not strong enough to keep the speed down when you're going down a really steep decline, but it'll keep to the speed for the most part. This doesn't have that. Like, you literally are just controlling the speed by yourself the whole way. I saw someone mention that on the forum. It's like a random mountain. Let's know what that is. I guess it's a mistake, but I quite like seeing it because this is fairly flat scenery. You get that, like, until you get to sort of midway where you come to the viaducts as you cross the river. Then that's when it sort of looks cool. But yeah, so far everything you're seeing is what's in TSW2, really. They've upgraded some of the scenery around the sides. Like, you can definitely tell there's more greenery, a few more buildings. Still like the poor end of the route, I would say. The rest of the route, like the route from Ebbsfleet to Faversham, is still better, and I'd say probably from Ebbsfleet to Ashford International feels a bit better too. But they've jazzed it up and done what they can. So look, here we are, coming up onto the viaduct to go underneath the Queen Elizabeth Bridge, stop for crossing. Oof. Right, I'm going to put the brakes on now because we're being taken down. We've got quite a serious decline as well, so I'm going to put the brakes on. It's very curious how this game handles the difference between TVM and what the actual line speed is. So if we carried on at 225, we wouldn't actually technically be breaking the speed limit, so we don't get any disqualification points wise. But because the signalling is bringing us down to speed for the stop, you do have to follow that unless you want to have to do like an emergency stop right at the end. So yeah, the TVM is like telling us, you know, think about slowing down. If you ignore this, then the train will eventually start bleeping at you and then stop you. But you have time to do it. There we go. Let's get to 100, and I think at 100 it just sort of lets us guess what the next best speed is. There we go. I'm just going to saunter in. We've got plenty of time, like 700 yards away, and I've got over a minute. These timetables I find are quite generous. I haven't been late. Well, no, I was late on on the commuter services. The timetables are still tight, especially with the 465 because it's not a fast train. It doesn't get anywhere near you. I mean, there are speed limits that are 90, and it can barely do 75. Max brake, I think. Let's see if I can get us down to here. Here we are. Wow. Oh look, and there's a non-stop service. Cool. I wonder if that's substituting for the TGV or something. I've not seen any non-stop services yet, like to play for the for this train. But I guess maybe they do exist in real life. Oh wait, no, that's too early. I thought I only had 10 seconds, but I've still got over a minute. I'll reopen them then. Make sure I've got minimum brake so I can make a quick getaway. Oh, didn't I turn it on? I thought I did. I think some lines are supposed to come on there when you turn it on. Let me check. Ooh, whoa, wrong door. No, nothing. Maybe I misunderstood. Just making sure that I haven't accidentally closed the second. Oh, now I need to go. And let's go. Oh! I thought I had closed them. Oh, there we go. Well, the train did actually let me apply power. That's the weird thing. Like I said, I'm not. I have no ambition to be a train driver, and this is why. And this is especially why. This is a high-speed train, so there's no stopping. I mean, a 465 is one thing where like you can't get faster than 75, and on most of the stretch you're only doing about 40 to 50. But a train that goes over 140 miles an hour, I think, or goes 140. I think it's the top speed. I can only remember because I think the top speed of this train is 225 kilometers per hour, which was the intended top speed of the Class 91 on the East Coast Main Line, the Intercity 225. And it only ever went that under tests because UK signalling can't really accommodate speeds like that safely. Now it can, I think, with European train control system, it will be able to. But whether they actually do is another thing. Because whether it's implemented fully, I don't know. So this is the entirely new stretch of track. We have left Ebbsfleet up there, and we are now onto the rest of HS1. I don't know what this spur leads to. It's not like another branch of HS1, I don't think. I guess it's maybe to where this is... No, actually I don't know. I guess maybe there's like a depot or something. Would make sense. So it's really slow going here because the train is accelerating up really steep hills and this train isn't very powerful, so the TGB would take this in its stride, but the 395 is struggles. So you'll find quite a few bits where you're like, oh come on, I'm only going at like 110 miles an hour or something, I want to be going faster than that. But then like you see these bits where it'll flatten out or start going downhill as well. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous, ain't it? Gorgeous. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. What are the clouds doing? What are the clouds telling us? Nothing yet. Everything still looks light cloudy. No worries for weather. There's enough weather in the real world. This game, like I want to escape it in this game. I should just say it to clear all the time. Or slightly overcast actually. I don't mind it with the, these clouds are really impressing me. So when I set it to custom, in the old game I always used to like having sort of like at least light cloud cover. And in the evenings, let me tell you, the early mornings and the evenings were the worst time for this game in TSW2 and earlier, because they just couldn't deal with the shadows, so everything just looked really contrasted, like the darks were way too dark, and it just looked really odd. Now, it's the opposite, like the best times of day are these times of day where you get this sort of, these really strong sort of natural light colours that sort of illuminate everything. Like in the evening when you get like a pink sky, at dusk can be stunning, absolutely stunning. I will do a video. I just need to find the right service that has the right lighting. There was one on Castle Würzburg that was absolutely brilliant. I just need to re-find it. It was either morning or evening. It's what I took my promo video with, actually. It was just brilliant. And I think that was a half journey service, like the one I did in my previous video, which was a disaster. I only uploaded it in the end because I was like, I didn't have the time to make another preview for like another day. So I'll just upload the disaster video with me misunderstanding the signaling, not the signaling, the emergency brakes. But I did go on the forums, and there's some explanation for what I must have done to get unfreeze them. There's like a little button that I pressed, but you have to do it in a certain way with certain things turned off. So look where we are. We are on the Midway Viaduct. This is like stunning, 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 stunning. This is like the piece of HS1. The rest of HS1 kind of, nobody would probably recognise it, but this bit is the bit that people recognise. There we go. So if you're unfamiliar with this line, it was built in the, I don't know if construction started at the early 2000s or the end of the 90s, but it was planned from, say, the mid-90s when the Channel Tunnel opened, and it suddenly became clear that the French side had this really nice, snazzy, high-speed network that meant the trains could carry on at 200 miles an hour after arriving in France all the way to Paris or to Brussels. Whereas in the UK, the train came off the Channel Tunnel and joined the southern third rail electric network and trundled along at 70 to 80 miles an hour. And which doubled the journey time from what it is now, but it was also very kind of a bit embarrassing to have that stark comparison. So High Speed 1 was built to link the Channel Tunnel with London, which it does basically. I mean, that's exactly what it does. And obviously because they were building a very long high-speed line, it was imperative to make some use of it for Kent, because Kent obviously it was a long stretch of line, so you could theoretically build domestic services on there too, which is what they did. That's what we're driving. These services go to, they basically either go to Ashford International or Folkestone. Do they go to? Yeah, they do. They go to Folkestone or Dover on this line, or they use the full length of the line but turn off at certain points to join the third rail. Or they, just like this one does, stays on high speed 1 and then goes back on high speed 1. But basically it's kind of like how French high speed would work, but less because it doesn't join any big cities, like, God bless Ashford and Int'l, but they're not cities. They're just like suburban stations, really. Or like Ashford's a town, I guess. I mean, maybe it's got city status, but it's not a very big city if it is a city. So it's not like linking London with Birmingham, for example, which is what HS2 will do. This is just taking advantage of the fact there's a high-speed line running past certain conurbations that could benefit from the link. And obviously in the original high-speed route, which is still part of this, you can go to Faversham as well. So you can turn off at Ebbsfleet and then drive along the nice country nice country railroad to through the small London commuter towns, Rainham, Gillingham. I mean, they all have their own, like, I mean, like, you know, the people who make this game, Dovetail, they're based in Rochester, which is one of the stations you can go along. So like they have their own little things, but they are also the reason why they would use a train like this is because a lot of people who live there commute into London for their jobs. Maybe less now because of the pandemic and working from home. I haven't been to my office in well over 2 years. But my company just announced a new office next year. which is much closer to where I live and actually might tempt me back. Much nicer as well. And as I've said before, I do work in the games industry, so not for Dovetail. I live in Spain, so not possible. Although I would like to tell them a thing or two about their user experience. I mean, one, the game is absolutely brilliant. Two, like, first and foremost. But two, their user interface and guiding people through the game needs work. Lots and lots of work. Way. Oop, we're on a downhill, so we're getting the... And we're coming into a tunnel. How far away are 14 miles? Oh, 14 miles. That means, yeah, we're not far. Probably about 15 minutes. Less. This speed, it should be less. We're going more than a mile a minute. We're going twice that. See, this is what gets annoying about this stretch. It's very like up and down, and this train can accelerate so well. As you brake going down, you have to time it perfectly so that you release the brakes to carry the momentum up the hill and then help out with the acceleration, because the acceleration won't really help you get up the hill by itself. So if you lose too much momentum going downhill, you're going to be falling back down to 200 like I just did. I love the sound, the rattling sound as well. It's such a thing you hear in like real life cab videos. It's constant rattling of everything. It must drive people, the drivers mad. Drive me mad. Being a passenger on a train with like a rattly panel is the like definition of being driven mad on a train. I was on one last year in Spain, and it was usually quite good. Like that train is usually quite good. It's like a semi-high. It's like this one. It goes on the normal train tracks and then switches off to go to the high speed. And on the high speed section, there was just one panel that was like constantly going. And then once you drop to the low speed section, it just stops. Blind. Oh, it does. Well, that'll do. Ooh, not bad actually. Oof. I mean, like I've said in my previous video, the lighting is just transformed the game. Like it has. I mean, it's still not like you'll find plenty of things to complain about if you're that way inclined. They certainly haven't like reinvented it, but that like the lighting just such a game changer for me. It just really does iron out all of those little annoying, like even this, which I think it's overexposed. It still feels more like what an early winter morning would be like. Like if you're driving into the sun, you're gonna have that sun in you, and it's gonna bleach things out. So even if it's still a little bit overexposed and like not ideal, it's better than what it was before when it was just like really high contrast everything. And like all of these trees would have been like completely black. It looked really odd. So I can't remember if I mentioned, I think I did mention, I've got some I&I mods installed, which basically change the engine to like increase the draw distance, which is why you can see so far into the distance. You probably won't see that far in reality. I don't think the shadows are that different, to be honest. Look at how they're rendering in. I don't think the mods I've got are doing anything there. Okay. Myself down, but I know I'm about to go up a hill. I think. I can never tell whether I'm going up an incline or coming down one. Which it's just flattening out or it's going back up again. Yeah, we're going back up. So yeah, the TGV will be unfamiliar territory with this because it's obviously the route that's in Train Sim 1-2. It's coming over to TSW3. That is a very hilly route, and you have to intervene on the brakes even if you've got cruise control turned on, because the downhills are so steep that the electric brake can't do anything about them. So you have to intervene with the train brake and the air brake. Oh, we're being brought down to speed. Oh look, yeah, we are. We're approaching quickly. Ooh, we should see a slow line somewhere. I guess it's up there. On the other side of this hill. Oh wait, I'm slowing down too much. Oh yeah, there it is. Third rail. I haven't seen any AI on there, so I don't think there is any. But you never know, it might just be infrequent. And you're only here for like 10 seconds, so you wouldn't necessarily see much. Oh look, other train, other train. Oh, I need to get down to 160. Brake on, just to keep us going nice and slowly. This route definitely lacks cars. I've noticed on some of the motorways and bridges there aren't any vehicles. Not that big a deal, but you know, it's the kind of thing that like when you see it in Castle Würzburg, it does kind of make a difference to see the like traffic in the distance, you know. And then the fact that it's not here, especially when you go over the Medway Viaduct, it's a bit of a kind of, oh, it'd be good to like, you know, race the cars. Okay. Make sure I'm sauntering in. There we go. There we go. No place yet. Still quite bright. So I think the sky got clear. Yeah, so this is the dynamic weather in action. The sky went from like mild clouds to clear. And so like everything just went 100 times brighter. Oh, no, need to keep under 130. Under 130, and then I think, yeah, we'll just judge it. I'm going to get down to under 100 because I don't want to be coming in too fast to the station. Yellow, I assume the red that we're going to, oh no, yeah, it's just bringing us down into the station. How long have we got? Oh, we've got plenty of time. I don't need to be rushing to meet my deadline. I can saunter in slowly. I don't think I'm going to be having to drop below 50 until I come to a stop. Here we go. Gonna slowly coming around 30-ish, I think. Bring myself to the end of the target. I guess that's the bypass. On the left. That's where the Eurostars would go if they're not stopping here, which they don't anymore. After post-COVID, I don't know what the deal is with Eurostar. I mean, I imagine there's kind of like they pay for access of the line, and then as part of that, similar to how ordinary train operating companies used to win their franchises, they kind of like say, oh, we'll do a certain number of services to Ashford or Ebbsfleet, so that like Kent benefits basically from there being an international service, although they never managed to get anyone to do international services to Stratford. So there probably would be call for it if someone else started. I think there was a time when either Thalys or Deutsche Bahn said they were gonna start, that they might use Stratford And it would kind of make sense if there aren't that many platforms at St Pancras. And Stratford is very well connected. I mean, even if Stratford International isn't quite as well connected as Stratford Regional, you still get a connection, like a one-stop connection to Stratford International from Stratford Regional. So it wouldn't be that difficult, or you just walk through the shopping centre. Right, well, that was quite good. I got a gold. Yay! I think that's the first one I did. I got a silver or something. But yes, that was me doing much better than I did with the Castle Würzburg route, zooming down High Speed 1, basically from London to Ashford. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, you can see I went over speed a little bit according to that chart. Contrast on that green and white isn't very good. Not very easy to see. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, I've started a new driver profile. I've given up. I'm trying to like keep track of which one is which and what I'm going to do. It doesn't matter to me anymore. I'm never going to complete everything in this game, so I'll just happily restart every time they tell me to. And yeah, so next one, I may do another Castle Würzburg video with the nice evening dusk or dawn light. Cajon Pass, I'm looking for. I found a service that I think would demo the route, but in like about an hour, but it's only half the route, and it's the sort of straight, sort of speedier half of the route, so it might not be that interesting. We'll have to see. Maybe there's something, a sort of halfway house, or I could create a scenario maybe, and start like get like the interesting bit done without having to do the full route, which would take significantly longer than an hour. Anyway, thank you for watching. As ever, any questions, comments? I'm sure my driving isn't that impressive, but you know, if you do have any questions, let me know. And goodbye. Have a nice day, week, month, year, and hasta luego. And once again, you have to watch me go and turn up the camera and the recording. Goodbye.